Step out of the vehicle. Now.
I'm working. I can't step out right now.
I didn't ask if you could. I gave you an order. Step out.
Officer, I'm on the job. You need to walk away.
Who do you think you're talking to? Step out before I drag you out.
I'm Special Agent Michael Reed, FBI. And you just compromised the federal surveillance.
The body cam was recording everything, every word, every command, every second of the confrontation. And Officer Ryan Mitchell had absolutely no idea that the man sitting in the dark sedan with camera equipment and a laptop wasn't a suspicious person loitering in a parking lot. He was a 15-year veteran of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, conducting active surveillance on a white-collar crime suspect who'd been under investigation for 18 months. The man wasn't nervous. He wasn't defensive. He wasn't trying to explain himself. He was Special Agent Michael Reed, and he just watched his suspect walk out of the building, see the police lights, and immediately drive away in the opposite direction. 18 months of work, hundreds of hours of surveillance, a case worth $42 million in fraud gone because a local cop saw a black man in a parked car and decided to investigate. Before we dive into this absolutely insane story, I need you to do something. Drop a comment right now and tell me where you're watching from, your country, your state, wherever you are, and if you've ever been stopped or questioned for doing absolutely nothing wrong. Hit that subscribe button. This story gets even more intense. You don't want to miss what happens next. Michael Reed had been with the FBI for 15 years. He'd started as a field agent in the Chicago office, worked financial crimes, public corruption, and organized crime cases. He'd made dozens of arrests. He'd testified in federal court over 40 times. He'd received commendations from 3 different FBI directors. He was good at his job. He was meticulous. He was patient, and he understood that surveillance work required absolute discretion. That Tuesday afternoon, he was parked in a commercial parking lot in downtown Portland, Oregon. He'd been there since 9 in the morning. It was now 3:15. He was watching an office building across the street. Specifically, he was watching the third-floor office of Richard Morgan, a financial advisor who'd been running an elaborate Ponzi scheme for the past 6 years. Michael's case has started 18 months earlier when a whistleblower contacted the FBI. Since then, Michael and his team had been building evidence, bank records, email communications, witness interviews, financial analysis. They had everything they needed, everything except catching Richard Morgan in the act of meeting with his co-conspirators. Intelligence suggested Morgan met with 2 other men every Tuesday at 3:00. These men helped Morgan move money, create false documentation, and recruit new investors. If Michael could photograph these men, identify them, and document the meeting, he could tie them all together. The case would be airtight. Michael was using a long-range camera mounted on a tripod in his passenger seat. His laptop was open, recording everything. He had authorization from the FBI field office. He had clearance to conduct surveillance in this location. He was parked legally. He wasn't breaking any laws. His car was an unmarked sedan, dark blue, tinted windows. It looked like any other car in the parking lot. That was the point. Surveillance required blending in. At 9:57, Michael saw Morgan enter the building. At 3:12, 2 men Michael didn't recognize entered behind him. This was it. This was the meeting. Michael started photographing. The camera clicked quietly. The laptop recorded time stamps. Then at 3:15, a patrol car pulled into the parking lot. Officer Ryan Mitchell was 29 years old with 4 years on the Portland Police Bureau. He was assigned to a downtown patrol district. His job was to monitor the area for suspicious activity, respond to calls, and maintain visibility. When Ryan saw the dark sedan with tinted windows parked in the corner of the lot, something triggered in his mind. The car had been there for hours. Someone was inside. There was equipment visible through the windshield. In Ryan's mind, this looked suspicious. He pulled up behind the sedan and activated his lights. Michael saw the lights in his rearview mirror. His stomach dropped. No, not now, not during the meeting. He stayed in his car. He stayed focused on the building. Morgan and the 2 men were inside. The meeting was happening. Michael needed photographs. He needed documentation. He couldn't stop now. Ryan got out of his patrol car and walked up to the driver's window. He tapped on it. Michael lowered the window 2 inches, just enough to speak. "I'm working. You need to move along. Let me see your ID. I can't do that right now. You need to leave. Ryan's hand moved to a service weapon. Step out of the vehicle now. Michael kept his eyes on the building on the third-floor windows on the office where Morgan was meeting. I'm working. I can't step out right now. I didn't ask if you could. I gave you an order. Step out. Officer, I'm on the job. You need to walk away. Who do you think you're talking to? Step out before I drag you out. Michael had no choice. He couldn't blow his cover. He couldn't reveal his identity without potentially compromising the entire operation. But Ryan was escalating. The patrol car's lights were flashing. People were noticing. And then Michael saw it through his camera's viewfinder. Morgan walking out of the building, looking at the patrol car with its flashing lights, looking directly at Michael's sedan. Morgan's face showed recognition, fear. He turned and walked quickly in the other direction. The two men followed him. All three got into separate cars and drove away. 18 months of work gone. Michael turned to Ryan. His voice was ice cold. I'm Special Agent Michael Reed, FBI, and you just compromised a federal surveillance operation. Quick question for you watching, can you believe what just happened? Type your reaction in the comments. Ryan stared at him. You're what? Michael reached slowly into his jacket and pulled out his FBI credentials, the badge, the identification card. He held them up to the window. Special Agent Michael Reed, Federal Bureau of Investigation. I've been conducting authorized surveillance on a federal fraud investigation. You just cost us 18 months of work and a $42 million case. Ryan's face went pale. I didn't know. You didn't ask. You saw a black man in a parked car and assumed criminal activity. You approached without checking with a dispatch. You demanded I exit my vehicle during an active federal operation. You compromised a surveillance position and now my suspect is gone. I was just what? Doing your job. Your job isn't to harass federal agents conducting lawful operations. Ryan looked at the camera equipment, at the laptop, at the FBI credentials. I thought you were suspicious. Suspicious. I'm parked legally in a public parking lot. I wasn't breaking any laws. You had no probable cause to approach me, no reasonable suspicion, nothing. You saw a black man and decided to investigate, and it cost the FBI a case we've been building for 18 months. Michael pulled out his phone. He called his supervisor at the FBI field office. Ma'am, this is Reed. We have a problem. Local PD just compromised the Morgan surveillance. He saw the patrol car and fled. Yes, ma'am, all three subjects left. I have partial photos but nothing usable. I need you to contact Portland PD Command. We need an immediate meeting. He ended the call and looked at Ryan. You're going to wait here. My supervisor is calling your chief right now. We're going to have a conversation about federal law enforcement cooperation or the lack of it. Ryan stood frozen. His body cam had recorded everything, the approach, the demands, the escalation. Michael revealing his FBI credentials, all of it captured. A supervisor arrived 20 minutes later, Lieutenant Karen Foster. She'd received a call from the FBI field office. She knew this was serious. She walked up to Michael's car. Special Agent Reed. Michael held up his credentials. Yes, ma'am. I'm Lieutenant Foster. I apologize for this incident. Can you tell me what happened? Michael explained the 18-month investigation, the surveillance operation, the meeting he'd been documenting. Ryan's approach, the compromised operation, the fled suspects. Lieutenant Foster listened. Her expression grew darker with each sentence. She turned to Ryan. Did you check with dispatch before approaching this vehicle? No, ma'am. Did you run the plates? No, ma'am. Did you have any indication of criminal activity? The car had been parked here for hours with someone inside. That's not a crime. Officer Mitchell, did Special Agent Reed commit any violation? Silence. Did he? No, ma'am. Lieutenant Foster turned back to Michael. Special Agent Reed, the Portland Police Bureau will cooperate fully with any investigation into this incident. I'll personally ensure this is addressed. Do you think the officer should face consequences? Type yes or no in the comments. Michael spent the next 3 hours at FBI headquarters writing reports. His supervisor, Special Agent in Charge Victoria Bennett, was furious. 18 months, Michael. 18 months of work, we were this close. I know, and he approached you. Why? Because you look suspicious. Because I'm black and sitting in a parked car. Victoria's jaw tightened. We're filing a formal complaint with Portland PD. We're also requesting DOJ review this under federal civil rights statutes. This wasn't just harassment. This was interference with a federal investigation. The FBI's formal complaint landed on the Portland police chief's desk the next morning. It was 7 pages long. It detailed the 18-month investigation, the surveillance operation, Officer Mitchell's approach without cause, the compromise operation, the fled suspects. It also included something else, a pattern. The FBI had reviewed records of interactions between Portland PD and federal law enforcement over the past 3 years. Officer Ryan Mitchell had stopped or questioned federal agents on 5 separate occasions, 5 times. All 5 agents were minorities. 3 were black, 1 was Hispanic, 1 was Asian. In each case, Ryan had approached without cause, demanded identification, questioned what they were doing. In 3 cases, he demanded they leave public spaces where they had every right to be. None of the 5 were doing anything illegal. All 5 were conducting legitimate federal law enforcement activities. 1 was a DEA agent watching a drug house. Ryan's approach caused the suspects to notice surveillance and alter their behavior. 1 was an ATF agent documenting a firearms trafficking location. Ryan's patrol car presence tipped off the suspects. 1 was a Secret Service agent conducting advanced work for a presidential visit. Ryan questioned why he was photographing buildings. The pattern was undeniable. Ryan saw federal agents, all minorities, conducting lawful activities and assumed they were suspicious, and his interventions had compromised multiple federal investigations. The Internal Affairs investigation was brutal. Captain Lisa Martinez conducted the review. She interviewed Ryan. She interviewed the 5 federal agents he'd stopped. She reviewed body cam footage from all 6 incidents. Her report was 49 pages long. Her conclusion: Officer Mitchell demonstrates a pattern of racial profiling that has not only violated civil rights, but has actively interfered with federal law enforcement operations. His actions have compromised investigations worth millions of dollars and have damaged the relationship between Portland PD and federal agencies. Her recommendation: